Well, Ortensia completed her final piece of work for next Tuesday's King Stand Stakes this morning on the Albahathry track. And Paul, everything seems to be ticking over nicely with her.
Yeah, she was nice and smooth in her work this morning. It's a nice little uphill rise, that last little part, and very happy.
Still a week out, so it's a long way out for a final gallop. Is that a bit different to what you normally would do with her?
No, it's actually a day closer than what we've been doing. I'm just stuck with the same patterns that we worked with so far with the mare, and they've been pretty successful. So I move one day closer, and I think that's ideal for her leading to this race.
You get a read off her from track work, from what she does and how she pulls up. What does that tell you about how she is?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she probably pulled up slightly bigger today than what she normally does, but there's a fair bit of activity down there, so I put it down to that rather than the actual exercise itself.
And okay, how do you think she presents now? It's been a bit of a tour for her, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, I think she presents pretty well, all things considered, particularly with the weather. I think if we'd had a few more days like this in the last week or two, she'd probably be a bit finer in the coat, but certainly very healthy.
I mean, for those who aren't aware of what it's been like here, we're standing in a glorious summer sunshine morning here, but this hasn't been the case, has it?
It's been absolutely freezing for the last 2 weeks. It's been raining, windy, horrible.
But everyone's had to go through that, haven't they? So
yeah, absolutely. Everyone's in the same boat, and we're all aware of that. And so we've got to go through all the same things.
She's been away from home a long time. It's been a bit of an odyssey tour for her as well. I mean, can you tell that she's a happy horse still?
Yeah, she's very happy. I think she's almost the most relaxed she's been. I think I've said before, she's a real mood horse, you know, and she goes through times when she's quite relaxed and other times when she's quite uptight. But certainly in this environment, she's very relaxed, and I think she loves it here.
How does that work from a trainer's point of view when you say you've got a moody mare, an older mare who's probably been thinking about going to stud, which she was, but
yeah.
How do you work around that?
Well, I think you just kind of adjust your work and what you do with her accordingly, and you basically just judge her as she is, kind of week to week, day to day, and it's kind of worked for us in the past. And even with gear, from blinkers to no blinkers, it really depends on the way she's working and her attitude.
She wear blinkers at Ascot or not?
She will.
It worked for you in Dubai?
Yeah, it did work in Dubai. The two before that, she obviously wasn't in any blinkers, but I felt in Dubai she was just that relaxed, and the same here, that I think just a little bit more focus will help her.
She's been here and you've been here a long time now. I mean, I suppose it was probably practical not to go back to Australia once you're in Dubai. Has that worked for you or against you?
Yeah, I think definitely for us. Obviously came over here a couple of years ago and had a very different experience travelling horses here, and I wanted to get here well and truly a lot earlier than what we had in the past and settle her in, particularly being an older mare. She's not a gelding, and they often travel, and it's more difficult, that's all, particularly with the season change and horses going in and out of season. So I think the earlier the better, and that's worked out for us.
That was Alberta, who you're here with in the past. Did you learn much from the trip? It's your first trip away with a horse?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a huge heads up having the experience of being here before, particularly knowing the tracks and what you want to use. Everything from feed merchants to farriers to vets, so it all adds up.
Head towards next Tuesday, and the King Stand looks like being a capacity field with everyone dodging black caviar. The great mare hasn't helped you by just being here to run a different race.
No, it's amazing. You spend your lifetime in Australia trying to dodge her, and then you come over here and you dodge her, but you end up in a harder race. So that's just the way it is when you've got a great horse like that in amongst us.
The market tells us it's going to be a very competitive, even race. Bated Breath might be favourite just from Ortensia, but it's going to be pretty competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, I think at the top it's going to be very competitive. The Hong Kong horses, I think, will be very good. You've got Bated Breath, obviously, and Soul Power from Dubai, who came second. So it's going to be very competitive at that kind of, I think, the top 5 or 6. And if it's wet, I think WizKid, the French horse, will come right into it.
And that's the forecast, though, isn't it? And that's going to be the test for the next, for everyone next week, the rain coming.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing we really can't control. The only, I think, the evening factor, well, what evens it out is the fact that most of the favourites don't want it wet, including us. So it's going to level out a few.
You're on day one, though. Whatever the track is, you've got to stand up for 5 days. You get one of the first cracks at it, no matter how it presents.
Yeah, I think that's a big benefit, and over here it's slightly different to what we're used to in Australia, where they put the better races on first so that horses get the best ground. So we get first day and basically first use.
And you're keen to stay on here, if you're running the Diamond Jubilee perhaps, but she's here to stay?
Yeah, she's here to race at the July meeting, July Cup, and then on to York, the Nunthorpe. And we just figured rather than go back in quarantine and take on Black Caviar back in Australia. I think we can stay over here and have a bit of a European tour before she goes back. I mean, she's a 7-year-old now. She's not going to be around forever. You never know how they travel back and whether they'll come up again. So I think while we're here and she's going well, let's make hay while the sun shines. Literally.
Yes, exactly. Just put us into perspective with you, with Black Caviar being here. I mean, obviously it's quite secure where you are here, but there's a lot of buzz about town about her.
Oh, it's Black Caviar mania over here. It's non-stop. The papers, the tweets, the emails, the press releases. So it's all Black Caviar. It's nice to be the undercard though, I think.
How would you be pleased to get there on Tuesday and get your job done? And I mean, for you, it's an extraordinary story with Ortensia, isn't it? How it transpired that came to you, and here you are in Newmarket, England.
Yeah, very fortunate. I guess just lucky. She came at the very end of her career and seems to have hit a bit of a purple patch and seems to be holding it.
And of course, to keep yourself busy over here, your video blogs have become YouTube successes, going viral. Paul, we've seen the jockey cam out there, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I see you guys are using the jockey cam this morning. They're trying to rip off a few of my ideas. I think it's quite good.
Oh, it is good. I mean, it's a totally different perspective for racing fans.
Yeah, no, it is. I never get the feeling of sitting on their back, so it's quite a unique experience being able to watch exactly what the jockey sees, and you certainly you can see their stride when they change strides. It's interesting. You've
been using you obviously use E-Tracker at home as well, but that device helps you get a measure on your horse?
Yeah, I think particularly over here where the tracks are so undulating and it's very difficult to time your horses or know how hard they're working. I found it very beneficial to use it up and down the slopes here.
Fantastic. She looks great, and I hope she presents well on Tuesday and runs well for Australia and yourself.
Yeah, thanks very much.